and they have a podcast, and they haven't done their podcast in a while because they made a show kind of based on the podcast.
Yeah.
But they have some pretty cool guests on. Reggie Watts was on one time, and the horn section is a group of really talented musicians, right? And so they often will create a song based on, like, they'll say, what's your favorite genre of music? Would you like a chorus? What BPM would you like it to be? That kind of stuff. And then in the end, they go away and they play it. All of this to say, I noticed something about the British podcasts that are different than a lot of the US podcasts. And that's that, and this is actually brought in full. Taskmaster has their own podcast as well. Paul F. Tompkins was on it, and he pointed it out. When you're on a British podcast, they just start right away. They start talking to you and things like that. Whereas in America, you have to sit through them talking about their intro and all that kind of thing. It's common with British podcasts, because I guess they value people's time more, that they do those intros afterwards.
Yeah, I believe that's how Marin does his show.
Oh,
they just
he's obviously British.
Because he is somewhat British. Because there have been a couple. I used to listen to his show. Like, I tried to catch up on all the past episodes, but he was recording them faster than I can listen. I just, every once in a while I will tune in. However, I do remember one guest. I don't remember who it was, but he just started talking to him, and they were kind of surprised that they were recording, that they were going.
Yeah.
But he does record like a 15-20 minute intro, for each show. So a lot of people that I know actually bypass his intro and get right to the guest.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do it. That's the point.
We just get right into it. It's just that we are our own host and guest.
This is just an hour-long intro.
Yeah, exactly. There's never any real meat. Speaking about never any real meat, I had some vegan bacon mac and cheese today. And the thing that I liked the most about it is it's mac and cheese with sort of a flavor of bacon. No attempts to make it look like there was any bacon in there. It was just shells and sauce.
Yeah.
Which I think might be an interesting idea. Get away from like trying to make things look like things, and just in the future, what you're going to eat is a cube that tastes delicious, but it's still a cube.
Welcome
with a
to
texture.
The Matrix.
Yeah. Oh, shoot!
I heard that
it's
either Beyond Meat or Impossible Foods, the fake meat, the plant-based meat company. Like, their sales have dipped. I think the crest of people's sort of like curiosity about plant-based meat has gone downhill, and
I honestly think that social media may have something to do with it.
What makes you think that?
There is a lot of in left spaces, right?
Yeah.
There's a big push now that being vegan is elitist and racist, which is interesting.
I don't understand the elitism part. Or sorry, the racism part. But I get the elitism. It is actually a privilege that you can decide how you choose to eat.
And when they say racist, here's the thing, right? It's the same problem with vegans the world over. It's not a problem with vegans. It's a problem with criticism of vegans. Is that you're criticizing a version of vegan that not everyone is, which is, telling other people that they're wrong for how they eat, rather than it being a choice.
Right.
Like, because you are doing this, you are passing judgment on me as a person. Right? that because you've made some sort of, I'm putting ethical in quotes. I'm not. You can see my hands. I'm not really, but you know what I mean. Some sort of ethical um, choice, if it's an ethical choice, that by saying it's an ethical choice, you are implying that everyone who doesn't make the same choice as you is being unethical.
Correct. And that is why when I am out to eat with somebody who I know is vegan or even vegetarian, I feel sheepish when I eat meat, like I am doing something wrong. It's like when you,
It's funny because sheep,
if
famously don't
you,
eat meat.
it's like if you know somebody is a recovering alcoholic and, like, at a dinner party, everybody's drinking wine except for that one person because
Yeah.
why
And
would
that's,
they?
I think the thing is, I don't drink. Um, but I don't judge the, well, no, I do. I actually do judge people who drink to excess. I was lying when I said I don't. I still will hang out with them, but I guess I do judge them in some
You
ways.
got
It,
hanging
depending
out
on
hanging out with drunk
depending on
people
how
is
they're.
annoying. You got to find
Yeah.
the right drunk people. Otherwise, it's just yeah.
I mean, yeah, and it's definitely not everybody, right? But it is interesting that I caught myself saying that because it was something that I would say for a really long time. I think again, uh being with Jennifer for so long, she's cut through some of that stuff. It was again her famously who pointed out to me, and which I've seen now, is that there is an element of sadism to my humor, that I like making people feel stupid, which is true. Stupid or confused or whatever.
Yeah.
That there is a, not a rage necessarily, but there is she, what was it? It was a uh the basic thing is, I'm smiling, I'm telling people that it should be fun, but I'm also happy that they may be uncomfortable with what I'm doing, which I think is kind of true. I mean, there are times, especially in our collaborations, where I was like, I'm just going to do this, and it's going to be great, and you're like, oh, geez, and
Here
that
we
and
go.
that here we go, right? Your like resignation that, okay, well, let's see what happens. I enjoyed that, and with her specifically, and this is one of the reasons why she brings it up. I like it when she gets mad at me for, when I make a joke that actually makes her, you know
Well,
like,
I mean,
it's
there's
it's
a
the it's the bad it's the bad pun thing, right? When you make a
yeah.
pun that's so bad somebody grunts, it's like that, but with everything.
I wouldn't.
That's
I mean, you can. I make people groan all the time because of bad puns and dad jokes, but
Yeah.
like I don't think anybody's ever actively mad at me. Like every
No.
once in a while, I have made people actively mad at me, and I have felt terrible.
Well, yeah, and I think you and I are kind of in the same boat there. There's a certain agreement, where when someone gets mad at you for a pun, that they aren't really angry,
Right.
right? They're fake angry, but they have to be angry, and if they aren't angry, then it's not good.
Yeah, they don't want to accept the bad pun, but so if they don't show any anger, that's a tacit acceptance of your humor.
Getting fake frustrated at the pun, you know, groaning,
Yeah.
shaking your head, all that is the equivalent of laughter for the bad pun.
Yes.
What I will sometimes do, and she's really trying to break me of this habit, I'm getting better, is I will pretend like I don't know something that I do know, because I think it's funny when she thinks I don't know something that I actually do.
Yeah. I've seen this in you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Beatles, you say? I'm not familiar with. It's a band. I'm guessing. Like that sort of thing. I don't do it as much anymore. It was more of a young man's game when I did stuff. But,
Yeah.
getting someone to explain what professional wrestling is, you know, is funny to me. But
I have actually put my foot in my mouth a couple of times, just as a stretching exercise. No, but I have like played that same game where I've played like I didn't know what the person was talking about in an effort to make fun of somebody who actually doesn't, and in return, was treated as if I said that in earnest. And one specific example, I was talking to a friend, and they were talking about the improv rehearsal they were going to. And I'm like, it's improv. Why do you got to rehearse? But I guess I didn't make it big enough. And they were like, well, you
yeah,
actually do. They were like, well, actually, you do have to rehearse for it. And I'm like, I know. Sorry, I didn't
yeah.
sell it. I didn't sell it as well as I could have.
So it is interesting that you bring that up because here is another aspect of this though that I've explained to her before. And it took a lot to mention this, but and I think I've mentioned this to you before as well. I sometimes do have memory problems, like
Right.
actual issues.
Yeah.
Um, and because I am known to do this type of humor, sometimes I cover for the fact that I didn't know something by pretending that I did know it, but was just joking that I didn't know it. Because I do that already, right? So I was mentioning to somebody about this that if I ever actually did have Alzheimer's, it might take people a little while to realize that I have it because they'll think that I'm just messing with them.
Yeah. The boy who
So
cried ignorance.
the boy who cried, I don't know where my house is. Um, the old man who cried, I don't know where my house is. 50 years old, pretty soon, Ben. Betty will be will have had her birthday by the next time we record this podcast.
That is
It's
right.
Valentine's Day, 14th.
Yeah.
She will
Valentine's
be
Day.
17 years old, Ben.
17. That
One more
seems
year and she'll be a gosh
amazing.
darn adult.
Yeah.
We've talked. Oh, yeah, this is a fun conversation I had with my dad. I'm like, yeah, so once Betty gets out of high school, we're probably going to try to move somewhere with a public transportation system because she's not going to drive. And he's like, oh, she's not going to drive. I'm like, no, she has the same problem I do. And he's like, well, you learned to drive. I was like, yeah, also almost died 3 times. I'd like to make that so that it doesn't happen
Right.
for her.
Right.
And I've been trying to be careful of I don't go on freeways or highways if I can help it.
Yeah.
When I go places in St. Louis, I go the avoid highway. I love GPS stuff. Avoid highways is really great because I can usually handle driving on like regular streets and stuff like that. It's blind spots and people zooming, and it's just the way people drive on the freeways, Ben, around here. I don't know if it's the same as in Seattle. Very aggressive, tailgating, moving in front of people,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
that stuff's universal. I mean, people say that drivers in one region of the country are more aggressive or more timid than drivers in other parts of the country, but it's drivers are the same everywhere.
I will say Atlanta was the only place where I saw someone reverse up the median strip
Well, then you
of
have
a
morons.
highway. Yeah, which was crazy. He did get out of the traffic jam though. So that was it was a souped up car too. Very, very fast sports car reversing up the grass of a median. It's really crazy. I was talking about Atlanta, the TV show with somebody the other day, and I think I mentioned this before, but I'm still sticking by it that it is definitely one of my top five for
It's
sure.
yeah. Brian Tyree Henry was nominated for like a supporting actor Oscar recently for something for
Was
a
it for
movie that he
Bullet
was
Train?
did. I, you know what? It should have been, but I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
it was
what.
that.
Yeah. I didn't
liked
know.
Bullet Train. It was
Do you
a
know
dumb,
his
goofy movie.
his his? Oh, it was awesome. I think the guy who directed John Wick directed it as well.
But Brian
Um,
Tyree Henry's partner in that is rumored to be the new James Bond.
yeah, that guy. He was Kick-Ass
Ah,
in the film Kick-Ass.
it's been a while since I've seen that.
I could see him as James Bond. He did a really good job in Bullet Train as well. That guy. Um, so I would think that you would know, but maybe you wouldn't because I didn't.
Probably not.
What his first like real starring role was?
Brian Tyree Henry's.
Yep.
I mean, to me, it's Atlanta. I don't know what he was in
Yeah,
before that.
he was the warlord in Book of Mormon on Broadway.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, he's great in that too. You know how his looks, how he's able to just like the withering stare that he does sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. There's a photograph of him giving that stare to somebody, and it's just great. But yeah.
I've been watching Poker Face. Have you seen this?
Oh,
The
Ben,
new
I love Poker Face.
Natasha Leon. Have we already talked
Yeah,
about it?
we talked about it a little bit. Now we can talk about it again. Spoilers
Yeah.
for Poker Face.
Spoilers.
The thing that I was talking to you about last time, but I want to reiterate now that you've seen it. If you're a showrunner and you want people to be okay with watching the show where your main star is only in half of it, how do you do it?
You know what? Now I do remember us talking about this because I was getting ready for that. She's in more than half. It's only at the first like act break with that. She's in, typically. Sometimes I think the most recent one I saw with at the nursing home. I think there were two. She wasn't in the first two acts, but
it's Thursday that we're recording this. There's going to be a new one tonight.
Looking forward to it. There's also going to be a new Last of Us tomorrow. They've bumped it up because of the Super Bowl.
Oh, awesome. Also, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, in this most recent Poker Face, they did, like, it's very obviously a Columbo, How Catch 'Em kind of TV show.
Yeah.
And there was a very solid call out to Columbo in this last one where Natasha or Charlie was like, one more thing, I just gotta ask, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, it took 5 episodes, but we finally had that.
I haven't been watching the new Quantum Leap that much, but I watched one episode. It was recommended to me by our mutual friend Andy because it was about a trans girl who was a basketball player, written by a trans person, and I was watching and I'm like, yeah, this is okay. There's something off though, and I can't think of what it is because he was talking about how good it was and stuff. I realized, oh, that's right. It's NBC. It's a network TV show. I've been watching nothing but prestige cable TV shows for so long. I forgot what it feels like to watch a show that is heavily, produced by a network.
Right.
All the standards and practices and all that stuff that they have to do. And then I thought about Hannibal, and I'm like, how did that happen? How was it that Hannibal was able to be what it was on NBC? What did they do? And the only thing I can think of is they just rode that line, I
think ad revenue also has a lot to do with that. If Hannibal was making a lot of money for the network, I think, and the showrunners were like, then, we're making you a lot of money, so hands off my product. And I'm sure NBC would be like, keep making us money.
Yeah, it's not Hannibal. That doesn't make any sense, but I like saying it.
I've also seen 3 episodes of Kaleidoscope.
Oh, okay. If you don't mind me ask, what colors?
Green, yellow, and lavender.
That's what you've seen so far.
Yeah, the order. I actually, when I decided to start watching it, I looked up like the correct order to watch it.
Oh, jeez. So you didn't let it.
Everybody had. Well, Netflix served it to me in a certain order, right? But
are you watching it in that order?
I am, but I noticed that it's when you play the episode, it'll tell you what episode it is. So like I started for me for Green, I think, which would have been
Yeah.
the first episode that I watched. It's like the the on-screen text says S or E1S3, which was like, oh, so this is the third episode, not the first episode. And so I'm like, well, but after a few debates with myself and reading like which the correct order is, I finally decided to just watch it how Netflix decided to show it to me, keeping
So
White as the last episode.
Yeah, White will be shown. Yeah, will show up as last episode. So what was Green? Do you remember?
Green was the jailbreak.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Green didn't come until way later for me. And so that was kind of interesting. So that's the thing that's great about it, in my opinion, is that they have references to stuff. So the guy, I think Yellow was the first one I saw. I want to say, the guy getting met at his place of work by the other guy. Okay, this doesn't work. What's the name of the kid who was in prison?
Stan?
Yeah, Stan. And what's the name of the head
Giancarlo
guy?
Esposito?
Yeah. What was his character's name? Ray? Was that
Ray? I think he also at the end of Green.
Yeah, he has two different names.
Yeah. He got an alias, but I think he starts off as Ray. Ray or Roy.
Yeah.
I think it's Ray.
So when I saw it, right, they were meeting up for the first time, and you knew that they had history, but you didn't know what that history was. So, and then you went back and you saw it. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, so if you can imagine the Bob, I think his name is, the guy, whoever the new boyfriend of his girlfriend was.
Oh yeah, the British guy.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name.
You met them, all that before any of this stuff happened, so you don't know exactly what the story is. Wait, what?
Yeah.
What was Lavender?
Lavender was the 24 years ago episode.
Oh, that's right. And what?
So that's when Giancarlo, like, the job that sent him to prison in the first place.
And what was the other one that you've seen so far?
Yellow was the second one I watched. That was 6 weeks before the heist. That was Giancarlo or Ray putting the team, like getting his reunion with Stan in the shop.
Yeah, so that was the first episode that I saw.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. I think there will be more shows like that eventually. Do you remember the idea that we had?
I know we had the last 23 years of friendship.
Which one? Yeah. We had talked about doing a zombie apocalypse TV show that was shot through security cameras.
The point of view of the zombie.
And that you would just go to a server. I think we were talking to Steven about this. You just go to a server and there would be all these clips with timestamps on them, and you could watch it in whatever order you wanted to, which I think would still work. And then this
it's a little mixture of like choose your own found footage adventure.
Yeah, exactly. It would still be cool, I think. Be a little bit of fun. Let's see. Let's talk about Ben's gonna guess the news. Ben,
I'm gonna guess the news.
What is the big controversy that is not indie RPG related, but has the indie RPG community up in arms fighting each other. Uh, what are they arguing about this week?
It. I'm assuming it has nothing to
It's nerd
do with
shit.
beep.
Yeah, I think I got it in time.
So it obviously, I think obviously has nothing to do with what we've talked about before in terms of what the indie RPG people have complained about.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with RPGs.
I have no earthly idea.
Okay. There is a. I'll try to steer you to it. Um, People who like RPGs often also like other nerd media properties, such as television shows and what? Oh,
And
books
movies?
and television shows, books, movies, and what else? What other um, media kind of thing do
Music?
music is not it? What do I fully embrace nerd culture. I've got t-shirts with things on them. I have t-shirts with uh,
Merchandise.
merchandise. Um, so merchandise for TV shows, movies, books, and there's another big pillar of stuff that nerds claim ownership of and are really.
Toys.
Ooh, you're so. I this is now. I was going to tell you, but now I really want you to guess because
God
I can't believe that you're missing
damn
this.
it. I can't believe once you tell me I'm gonna.
Okay, so think of your typical nerd. What does your typical nerd do? First
They
of all,
podcast.
where
Comic
does your
books.
typical nerd live? Like,
And your
what's their
mom's
housing
basement.
situation? Yeah, what are you doing in your mom's basement, Ben?
Play
What's
video
what's
games.
Yeah, there you go. So, it's a video game related issue.
Okay. Oh, is it Hogwarts Legacy?
It is Hogwarts Legacy. And Ben, what is the problem with Hogwarts Legacy?
I know nothing other than people are still upset at J.K. Rowling's turfdom, but I'm guessing that there's some sort of anti-trans element inside the video game.
The understanding that I have is not that it's necessarily anti-trans, except for, J.K. Rowling is making money off of it and is still apparently a turf. It's that, and spoilers for this game, apparently. Some people say that the object of the game is to squash a slave rebellion. I don't know how true that is, but there's a big argument about it.
So a bunch of slaves rebel against the masters, and you have to
And
stop that. That's the
that
game.
is okay. That is what highly vocal critics of the game in the indie RPG community say is happening.
Who now
Now,
in
is
the?
that
I know nothing about the Harry Potter universe. What like I don't are these humans that we're dealing with? Are they
I think it might
non-humans?
be I think it might be and this is just a guess, right? I'm thinking they're non-humans. They might be the little magical elf people that help clean up around the like Dobby and all that stuff. Um, but here's the thing. This is the big deal. What is happening is that people are taking to TikTok to explain why it's okay to play the game and how you shouldn't shame people for wanting to play it. And
Right.
then other people are saying this isn't true. And then now this is how it affects the indie RPG thing. People who want to play your wizard game, have started using the phrase "there's no ethical consumption under capitalism." But the problem that people are having with that is that phrase is supposed to be used to to absolve people who live in food deserts buying their food at Walmart, right?
Right.
You're
Yeah.
you can't boycott Walmart if it's the only place where you can buy your food. That's the basic thing. Not you can still play your favorite wizard boy, uh, even though it's giving money to a turf person. So that's the idea, right? So they say that, and then this is the final step in the argument, Ben. Uh, they are saying that some indie game publishers, once somebody makes that statement, they're saying that some indie game publishers are just as bad as Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro. They're
Yeah.
they're just as bad. It's all corporate stuff, and you're just feeding the corporate machine, and you should only buy zines from people who make them in their basement and whatever.
Yeah.
And that is how that video game is causing. And I've seen people who have been friends unfollow each other. Some people have left servers that they used to be on Discord. It's a crazy time, Ben, in the nerd world.
Well, I'm sorry that the nerds are mad at each other. But I guess I can see both sides because if you can't live an ethical life in today's America
Yes.
unless you just go and live in the woods and unplug from everything, you know? Because, there was a point where I'm like, I'm not going to buy any foods from Nestle, but Nestle owns half of everything in the grocery store. Or I'm not going
Yep.
to listen to, or I'm not going to watch TV that has this person involved, but, this person is part of the production company, and every time I watch one of these movies that I like, that person gets more money. You can't, it's, and that's what they depend on, people like me who just give up. And
Yep.
I'm like, it's
Oh,
too much work to figure this out, so I'm not going to worry about it.
now here's the next Ben's gonna guess the news. My kid recently left Twitter. Do you know why?
Because they were posting too much yesterday and were told to stop?
There
I don't know.
was a change apparently where now there's a limit to how many people you can follow.
Oh, yeah, that too.
And that was the last straw. What is the limit of how many people you can follow?
It was what is the limit? I don't know what the limit is. The only reason I know of it is because I follow Steve Martin, and he posted a screenshot of the Twitter dialogue warning, the Twitter warning dialogue box that says that he had reached his following limit.
He could not follow any more people.
He could
Steve
not
Martin
follow
could.
any more people. Correct.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. They used to, I believe, have something like that, or at least a throttle. But apparently it's been
From what I understand, there were a couple of things that were things like that were pushed out before they were ready. So I don't know. It sounds like a horror show over in Twitter. I just saw a tweet just before logging on today where Elon Musk fired a Twitter engineer for telling him the truth about tweet views. Elon was like, how come I don't have as many tweet views on my tweets as I normally do? And the engineer was like, you just don't have that much engagement. There's nothing wrong with it. And that dude was fired.
yeah. Why am I shadow banned? Asked Elon Musk. Hey, do you remember? I don't know if this happened, right? I don't know if this happened with us or if it was another group of people and a different Ben.
Another comedy duo from Seattle.
The idea that there's a ringtone that's bare naked ladies, it's Ben, as the call Did we do that, or is that
I don't
am I
think so.
thinking of something someone else did?
That's
Whoever did
probably
it,
someone else. Yeah.
you know what? I'm just gonna make a guess. And I'm gonna say that it was Demi um
Lovato.
Electro Lemon. Electro Lemon was his username. Demi, I think that it might have been him, but I don't know for sure.
You
Maybe it
should.
was somebody else entirely.
I think you should make that the ringtone when I call you.
Okay, we'll try it. We'll work it out. For me, you can just use the Hey Paul" from Gigantic and cut it before it becomes about sex with a dude. Oh, that was one of those things of
Oh, what? We're gonna have to
yeah.
pay for that now.
Oh no, you were off tune enough that I think we're gonna be okay.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
backhanded
you.
compliment. Paul strikes again.
Hey. Hey,
No, see,
Paul. Hey, Paul.
I took no pleasure in that. I didn't feel good about it.
I think you felt great
So
about that.
yeah. Let's see. What else is going on in the news? Final thing of Ben's gonna guess the news, video game edition. So somebody was saying that they are upset that this, Harry Potter discourse is going to go on, for a while. And someone said, "Well, just wait until blank comes out. Everyone's going to forget all about it."
Was Blank an actual
Implying,
game coming out,
yeah,
or like
implying that blank,
just wait
which is
till
not the
Harvey
name of the
Weinstein the video game comes out?
Well, no. It's a blank is the name. I am using the word blank in place of a name of a video game. What video game do a few people at least think will be so awesome that no one is going to care about the Harry Potter game when
Oh
it comes out?
God, we're getting real inside baseball here. At least
Yeah,
for someone who pays no attention to the video game
exactly.
space. It is I'm assuming a controversial title.
It is a.
Is it a
It's
sequel
not going
to
to
an
cause.
existing title?
It is not a sequel to an existing title, and it's not controversial in that some people think its content is it's just it has been
It
like lusted after by some people after some trailers for it came out, and now it is finally coming to in this month. It's coming to all major platforms.
Is it an original IP or based on an existing one?
Original IP.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you, Ben, because I don't
Tell
think you're
me.
going to be able to guess it.
I have no idea what it is.
When the podcast is over, I would like you to watch a trailer for Atomic Heart,
Atomic
the video game.
Heart. Never heard of it. But people think it's going to be so popular, or people are going to be talking about it so much that it'll totally eclipse all this Harry Potter nonsense.
Some like right now in certain circles, it's getting a lot of buzz, and the people who are watching, that thing, think it's going to make it like big in the mainstream. That once it hits, people are going to love it.
Is it a like an existing studio? Is it from?
It's a game from Russia.
Okay.
And
at the end of the game, you have to squash the Ukrainian uprising.
No. I would suggest just watching the trailer. It's nuts. But I mean, because here's the thing: it's your standard. You're a guy with a gun and you're shooting things. That's the game. Like any other thing. It's the style and craziness of it that makes a difference.
All right.
So yeah, I see that you're looking at something.
My watch buzz, it's telling me to stand. It does this. I should know that whenever my watch buzzes at me at 10 to the hour, it's just reminding me to stand up, and I don't need to look at it.
Oh, and that's to keep you.
It's the Apple Watch. It's got it has this you have 3 health rings. One is stand, one is exercise, and one is move. And so you try to complete your rings by the end of the day, because it's healthy for you to stand up, I guess. And so,
Can I ask you about your Apple Watch, Ben?
Sure.
Do you need a phone to use it? Does it have to be paired to a phone in order to work?
I don't know. I just assumed that it did, but I already own an iPhone, and so it wasn't like I am within the walled garden of Apple products. So it, pairs. I set it up with my MacBook, and I, use my iPhone to, sync it when it was new. So I'm sure they sell standalone Apple Watches, though, if you don't have an iPhone, if you have an Android. Or I'm sure if you're looking for a watch, Fitbit would be more than happy to sell you a watch.
Well, see, what I'm eventually looking for is to not have a phone anymore, to just have a watch
Oh, I see what you're getting
that I
at.
can make phone calls and stuff like that. I think it's
I
coming.
don't.
It's not here yet, but I think it will.
Yeah. You can. I think that's the thing. I can make calls with this, but it goes through my phone. It's not.
Right, exactly.
This isn't a cellular, device.
Once we have on-hand cellular devices, it's gonna be it for me. I won't have a phone anymore.
Do you remember those gloves that had a speaker in the pinky and a microphone in the pinky and a speaker in the thumb? Phone gloves?
There was one that they had in Japan that I really wanted to work, which is you stuck your finger in your ear.
Yeah.
And your audio went through the bones of your hand, and then your watch was a microphone. And that's how people would make calls.
Here's an interesting thing. So when kids today pretend to talk on the phone, what do they do? Because
I don't know.
We did this because this is what talking on the phone looked like when we were kids.
Yeah, we would do
right?
this too to hang up.
Yeah, because this was the phone. This wasn't us holding the phone. This was the phone.
I think it was A&W Root Beer where they would say you pick up the can like this, so that you have like a mug. Do you remember that? Was it
Maybe.
A&W?
I can't remember.
Anyway, I thought it was cool for a while. I did it.
I do that when I drink out of a soda can. I put my pinky under. This isn't a soda can, obviously, but I put my pinky underneath just to act as a sort of shelf
Stabilizer.
So the can doesn't slip out of my hand.
Interesting. So, remind me for the Ben exclusive. Stick around after the podcast so I can talk about life events.
Life events. You can do that while I'm watching the trailer for Atomic Heart. There's one thing, Paul. I don't know if you watched it, but a couple days ago, do you know what big political event happened?
The State of the Union address.
The State of the Union address. Yeah.
Hey, I did it. Awesome.
The SOTU.
Obviously, I did not watch it.
I did not watch it either, but I have seen clips and I have read reaction about it.
Here is something that I do not mind telling you. I have not seen the current president speaking as much as I have seen our previous president speaking. And to sum up my attitude, it's been like this. I'm sure it's fine. Like not.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And then again, the president before the previous president, watching Barack Obama was nice. You were like, oh,
yeah, he's an orator. He's got great speaking skills.
He's doing it. Great. I'm mostly okay with this. Would be what I would say whenever Barack Obama talked. Um, Donald Trump, it was like, oh, and then Joe Biden's like,
Well,
I
see,
don't need to, I don't need to see him say things.
that's what was great about Biden winning is that you can go back to ignoring things the president said.
Yeah. Um, and
Like in the
people can
best
watch,
way.
people can go back and listen to the podcast around that time. The fact that Joe Biden is president now, everybody uh, probably collectively forgets how bizarre that was, that turn of events, that's who became president.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was like, what? Wasn't he just thoroughly eviscerated by,
Kamala Harris.
yeah, or whatever?
That happens during every debate cycle. I mean, you can remember when Biden ran in 2008 and the debates that he had with Obama on the debate stage and just like,
Yeah,
oh, Barack, I guess they smoothed things over because Obama picked Biden to be his VP. Or
yeah,
Obama was told to pick Biden by
yeah,
his
exactly.
team.
That's uh that Bill Hicks thing. I still remember it.
Yep.
And
And
you
they
and you go down and they show you the assassination of John F. Kennedy from an angle that you've never seen before. Uh,
and the
who
lights come
knows?
up, and a man with a scar asks you, "Any questions?" Just what my agenda is.
Yeah. So good. Hey, speaking of so good, it's another podcast in the can, Ben. We did it.
Hey, this is number 363. We are a couple of weeks away from having a podcast a day.
Yeah, podcast today. That's going to be fun for you, listener. And who's to say, really? Hey, interesting thing, Ben. I have not read about or thought about artificial intelligence at all for this last week.
Wow, you get a cookie.
Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I do. And again, we'll see if I get another cookie next week on the GudeLaurance podcast. Keep it wrong, Ben.
Keep it wrong, Paul. Talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week.
Talks to you next
Yep,
week?
that's good enough.
That's what I said.
Let's
And I'm
just